Hello, it's me once again. If you've been to this channel before, you know this is that channel where I pretend to be an expert at all things houseplant. If you're new to this channel or you saw my video from one of those recommendation or recommended YouTube videos, my name is Shekrino, and on this channel I talk a lot about houseplants, taking care of houseplants, tips and tricks that I've learned, and sometimes I would take you through my process of like buying new houseplants and where I get like really cheap planters. I'm taking you through like my plant collection and letting you see all the plants that I have. Today I want to talk about plants that I've killed and some of the plants that are about to die. I think that generally when you go online on social media to see how people take care of their plants, sometimes you don't see the other side of it, like plants that are suffering and some of the plants that are dying. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking a little bit about, I'm going to be showing you some of the plants that I have that have either died or that I'm struggling to keep alive. So the first plant I'm going to be talking about is the Houseplant. In one of my first few videos, I think my first video, my houseplant collection video, I talked a little bit about this plant. It had a number of leaves at that time. From the very moment that I brought this plant into my apartment, it had already started dying. In fact, I think from the store where I bought the plant, it had already started dying. Now the Ihi, I think it's called Ihi, I-H-I. It's a plant that requires a lot of sun, and it requires a well draining soil, and those are conditions that I actually stuck by, but for some reason it just didn't work out with me, and it was such a beautiful plant. I don't have this anymore, it's gone. What would I have done better to have kept this plant alive? Honestly, I don't know, and if you have an idea, please leave that in the comment section below. So next is my cactuses. This is the old lady, supposed to be the old lady cactus, and this is the zebra cactus. They're very much gone as it is. So this used to be, of course, bigger. The interesting thing about cactuses like this is they start to shrink. And in my opinion, where these plants were on a shelf with a grow light, but what I think happened was the light was too far from the surface of the leaves, and so they weren't getting enough of sunlight. Unfortunately, I've not been able to revive them because now I've given them so much more of light. In fact, I put these two outside where there's a lot more light, and they're just like this. I'm hoping that they magically come alive. One of the other plants that I'm unable to show you guys is my lithop. I also had a video recording of that in an earlier video. And just like the cactus, what happens with the lithop when it starts to die is they begin to shrink and then they just like disappear into thin air. I was not able to save that particular plant. However, I have another lithop that's doing really well, and that one is in view of like really bright light and a lot of sunlight because they're native to South Africa, where there's much more sun than over here in Florida. So next is would you guess what plant this is? So this used to be the Maranta leuconura, the red prayer plant. It just started dying on me. I have no idea why, and the sad thing is it was positioned where all my other prayer plants are, and I'm not very sure why exactly. My initial guess is that it died from some kind of pest. I noticed that I have mealybugs on some of my plants, and I'm going to talk about another plant here that's dying, and it's caused by mealybugs. My hope right now is that this would start to grow back again. So the cool thing about prayer plants is they have like bulbs under the soil, and sometimes these bulbs will take new roots, or new shoots rather. So I'm not exactly going to throw this away. I'll probably talk about what I'm going to do to some of these plants that are dying. So the next one is my watermelon peperomia. This used to be such a beautiful pot. Like, my watermelon peperomia was like really bushy, and it was, I really loved it. See what's left of it right now. It's embarrassing. Like, what the heck? You know, this is so sad, so sad. You know, and I saw, what's so sad to me is I saw each leaf like failing me, and I couldn't do anything. My initial thought is that at some point I may have overwatered this, which is really weird because I'm always good with watering. In fact, this has I made sure that the soil was well drained. I also have rocks at the bottom of this pot so that even if we have like extra water, it comes out. But I may have overdone it. I feel like at some point while the soil was still wet, I may have still watered it. I'm not really sure, but the sliver of hope that I have right now is that I can see new leaves shooting out. I didn't even see, like, I was literally going to throw this whole thing away, but I see that there are new leaves already shooting out, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, so I'll keep you guys up to date on what's going on with this particular plant. So for plants that I have that are dying, this used to be my longest vining plant, and I used to be so obsessed with this one. This was like my, in fact, I had this by my television, like just vining down, and it looked so pretty. But for some reason the leaves started dying, and I've not been able to save them. See how they curl up, you know. Like, normally when you see like a silver pothos, which this is the Syndaptus pictus, when I see that the leaves, when you see the leaves curling up, it's most likely a sign that there's that the plant is thirsty. You know, right now I've never had a situation where this wasn't like well. I've never had a situation where this plant was, the soil was very dry. I've never had that. Right now it's still a little moist, but my plant is suffering. I'm really not sure what the problem is. I'm suspecting it's also a pest infestation. I'm going to be checking that in a bit. I really suspect it is. So what I'll do is I'm going to obviously remove some of the dying leaves and give this a chance to grow back. But another thing I'm planning to do is to actually repot this plant. I really don't know what's going on inside here, but I'm going to actually have to repot this plant, change the soil, change the planter. That's probably one of the only things I can do at this moment.
So right here is my philodendron black velvet. This is one that just started dying this fall. I also think it was pest infestation that caused the demise of this one. So this is the Mickey Mouse cactus, another one of my cacti that's shrinking. If you're gonna have any succulent, just make sure that you have the type of light, especially full sun, to cater to it.
So lastly, this is my Maidenhair Fern. I bought this at Trader Joe's about 5-6 months ago, and this was so beautiful and bushy. Suddenly I started seeing the leaves dying. Like, this is even really good. Like, it used to be so bushy, and I practically saw each branch, you know, start browning and dying on me, and this is what's left. And I've tried my best to revive this. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully this is another one of the plants that I'm going to have to repot. The interesting thing about this that I see is I'm already seeing a bit of something weird is happening to the soil. I really don't know what's going on. Also, for this, I'm just going to have to like remove the dying leaves and then watch painfully what happens to this plant. Hopefully I should be able to revive this one. So yeah, these are my dying plants. So I'm sometimes tempted to see some of my plants that get killed because of situations that I myself don't understand. I tend to want to associate that with failure, and it is failure at some level, but I don't think failure in itself is bad. Now I know for a fact that there are things that I don't know, and that there are things that I may want to understand later. In life generally, and with taking care of plants like this, there are times when things won't go as you planned. There are times when you would have tried all you can to keep something alive, whether it's a dream, whether it's a relationship, whether it's like a job, a career, whatever it is, and things don't go the way you expect it to go. I've learned, or I'm learning, that sometimes it's just, even though you may see that as failure, sometimes it's just what it is. Maybe you just don't know enough yet, or maybe you need to give it some time, or maybe sometimes you just need to prune those dead leaves and watch the plants take shape, you know. So other times it may be time to throw away that pot. It may be time to, you know, move on to something that's even way better. Sometimes these events and these happenings, these dead plants and dead situations, sometimes they teach us like more valuable lessons, and that's how I see this. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you come back here to this channel. And one way that you can be sure to come back to this channel is if you subscribe to this channel and you hit that notification button. That way you would see whenever I upload any other video. And if this video helped you in any way, if you have any tips for me, please let me know. And if you know how I can get these plants to live again, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching and at least making it to the end of this video. I'll see you in another video. Have a wonderful one.